Hi guys, welcome along. Richie here from the Heresy Group, along with...
Hello, I am Tim.
Here's Timothy, also from the Heresy Group. So welcome along, it's been a long time coming. But today we want to talk about ear protection for Milsim and Airsoft events alike. Now, as you know from us, you know, I'm well into my comms, Tim not so much, but he still loves the Gucci bits of the comms, you know.
And protecting my ears.
And protecting his ears. There has been some incidents. There were comments were made. So as most of you know, we've run through various types of headsets over our Airsoft and Milsim journeys. Obviously, we've both run the Raycals.
Both from Raycals.
Yeah. Raycal Frontier, in-ear, but also with hearing protection, so over noise cutouts. I've also run some early gen Earmors, which were the M32s.
M32s. I run a set of M32s as well, although just couldn't get on with the over-ears. Like, just couldn't get them comfy enough.
Yeah, because you've never been a huge fan of over-ear comms and protection, right?
No, I tried them a long time ago. I always found, like, obviously, this in the sniping days.
Yeah.
The old days.
Back.
Yeah, and just could never really get laid prone, comfortable, good cheek weld with over-ears on. So always went for in-ears, and then ran Raycals pretty much through until early part of last year.
Yeah. Tried
the 32s, and again, bit plasticky, couldn't quite get that nice level of comfort.
Yeah.
Not having the beautiful head of hair that you've got. As soon as it got a little bit hot, a little bit slick, man, I just found that they just moved about all over the place. Especially being that like rubberized ear cup, you know, it's like
it's quite hard, isn't it? Quite a hard plastic. Yeah.
So I didn't get on with them.
So going on our previous experiences then with over-ear comms and hearing protection, you know, a bit like Tim, I've run over-ear comms like the copies of the Contact 3s, you know, whether that's from TRI, TCA, I've run both sets, and both were pretty much out the same factory. Again, you know, the circuit boards, the soldering inside, the wiring was really terrible, really bad. You know, you would get maybe like a couple of games out of each headset.
I remember you having yours re-soldered, and then when the photos come back of the original solder, we were both like, wow.
Oh gosh.
Who did this?
Yeah, who done that? So you know, and again, also the ambient noise listening was horrendous. It was so echoey. You had that horrible hiss constantly in your ears. So it almost made your ambient noise listening even worse, because you're picking up so much, you're having to turn them up so loud to hear something that you got all this constant hissing noise, like having tinnitus. So yeah, early gen stuff wasn't great. So that's why me and Tim, we kind of went over to the Raycals really, because just the quality is so much better. We got in contact with Opsmen / Earmor. They are the same company, but don't get it confused. They do make different tiers of equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, those of you like myself who had the Opsmen M32s, which, you know, once I sweated and got them wet, they just failed miserably.
The Earmors.
The Earmors,
yeah. The Earmors.
So those are the Earmors M32s, early gens. These, however, which we're going to talk to you about today, are basically the mil-spec versions, the Opsmen mil-spec versions of those. So these are, so Tim has the M32.
I've got the M32s here.
Mark 3s.
I did want to unbox them from this case as well.
It's a swanky box.
It's a swanky case that they come in, and obviously I've got
carbon fibre, right?
It does, yeah. I've got the ones with the headband.
Yeah.
I want to put this out like first. I was a little bit sceptical about these because of the experiences I had with the last unit. They are completely different. This isn't just a change of, you know, down lead and circuitry. They are completely different units in every way, shape and form. So, you know, don't feel like you're going to get sent, you know, another set of Earmors with a couple of posh bits on it. These are completely overhauled units. So first time I got mine out of the box, I was like, oh, these are not the same thing. They're very, very different.
They just feel different as soon as you touch them. Again, so Tim's got the M32 Mark 3s. I have the M32X, which again, that's the headband version. This is with the Opsmen arc rail kit. So much like the other brands out there, these are fitted to a RIS rail. I think they do options for MTech and...
2 hours later.
Anyway, other rail options are available,
Yeah.
so you can have this rail.
The Team Wendy style ones.
That's
I don't
it.
know what they're called,
That's
but the style of lid that I've got, those types of rails, they
Yeah,
do that. They
as
do
opposed to-
an adapter thing for them.
As
so.
opposed to these, but this style of arc rail for it is awesome. You know, I love this because, you know, when you're not on ops or when you are doing a briefing, etc., or even just like for me for nighttime, when you really want to have that super like crisp hearing, you know, hear a pin drop, just bang these up, you know, and you can basically blank out everyone who's trying to talk to you.
It's amazing.
So yeah, these are great because obviously, as you can see, they do have a full 360. You know, you can spin these right round and then just pop them against your ear. Now, I don't know what techs or whoever designed these came up with the spring tension on this. Okay,
They are nails.
it's not so much now. I mean, it's solid, but it's spot on. The pressure is spot on.
Yeah.
I've had like I say, the Contact 3s. I've had other arc rail kits, and the pressure, it just clamps on your ear. And anyone that wears, obviously, you know, when you're wearing iPro, it just crushes your arm for your iPro against your head. And we've all seen it, right? When guys come back from an op or a strike op or something, they go pop and they go, oh. You know, the pressure is just enough on this. It's great. Also on here, you have this nice swivel, you know, almost like a ball joint on there, so you can maneuver this whichever way you want. Likewise, if you want to run your cups vertical like so, you absolutely can do. I like to have mine a little bit tilted just because, but again, the articulation is at every joint on this. Likewise, you have some extension on your actual legs there. This will pop out. So if your ears are like Van Gogh a bit down here,
Yeah, they're heading towards the chin of the face.
that's it. You can drop these down. So a ton of options for fitment on these to just get these exactly where you want them.
Also, you can move them about on the rail as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to move them up and down a couple of notches just to work on
Absolutely.
getting them in a really good space, then you can. I must admit, I did notice this a couple of times when we were out on the night ops at the weekend. We just took a bit of a pause on the infill. Always absolutely suggest with you guys heading out on the ground, if you've got any type of ear protection on, it's always good to just take a little bit of a pause and a break in that ambient noise protection that you get from the headset, and just have a little listen. So if you're heading up towards a track where there's a suspected enemy, always good just to have a little pause. Don't rely just on the headset itself. You know, break that cup seal a little bit and have a listen. Me and Richie were actually at the front of the stack. Richie just took a little stop. You know, we take a little breather, popped one of the ear cups off. Obviously, that just allows you to really soak up more of that noise. And the convenience of being able to do that, obviously, over the headset. If you've got the headset on and in place, it's a little bit more difficult to do it with this. But again, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just with the flexibility that you have on the top of the headband, it's just to drop that off of that ear.
Yeah.
So I've done that a couple of times before. We've gone into the containers. I'm trying to listen to if I can hear people coming in from the other end. Just dropped it over like this. Enough articulation on the headband to pop that off, and then obviously when we're ready to go, just flick that back over it and crack on.
But again, it comes down to personal preference, guys. You know, obviously I like running a lid during the day. Obviously I know Tim absolutely hates it and will avoid it at all costs. So, you know, if you do love running a lid in all conditions, then I'd definitely say the M32X, because again, you can just pop them off as and when you need them. If you've got the headband version and you've got a lid on top of that, then you've got to think about taking the lid off, etc. So just think about that, you know, for when you're going for options. So let's dive into the specs then. What are these about? Like I say, when Tim says these are a completely different beast altogether, they really are. So build wise then, they are 3mm thick ABS plastic, absolutely bomb proof. We've actually tried to grab these cups and give them a squeeze. There's no flex at all whatsoever. Power supply wise, 2 AAA batteries, 1 in each cup. Nice little, obviously, ambient microphone on the side there. All reinforced cables, including your down lead here, which terminates in a standard NATO TP120. It is NATO wired, so it will work with all NATO PTTs straight off the bat, which is great for all you sort of like enthusiasts and real simmers. We'll get shot down for that. Noise protection then. So this will cut out any loud noises over 82 decibels. So,
sorry, Matt, I was just going to say, that side of things for me, sorry to roll through the specs, That was the one thing I was concerned about with these, because I'd been so used to how well the in-ears cut off sound. They just perform so well, and it's so quick that you don't hear that like big pause and then it's back on again. Really surprised at these when we were running them at Splatoon.
Oh, you mean when it cuts out and you wait for it to build back up?
Yeah, and you wait for that noise to come back. These are like instant. It's like there's a break in that sound for a split second. And it's one thing I was actually going to almost forget to mention, but at Splatoon, obviously, the early part of the day, dropped a lot of pyro, lots of impacts, really good ways of cleaning those containers. I was a little bit worried that I'm going to get that like lag of sound. Again, not being experienced with over-ears and only really having a little bit of time under the last set. These were completely different. Like they were so snappy.
Very
in
responsive,
comparison.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Again, obviously, I'll get to my sort of experience with these in a bit, but again, having a bit of a bad experience, you know, obviously pushing the Earmor stuff initially, we was like, oh, I had my doubts about these, but you know, every test we've put these through have passed with flying colours. But we'll get to that in just a second. So on the side then, you have your power button, hold down for, I think it's 2-3 seconds, boom, they'll power up. And they'll stay powered up for about 4 hours. So it has an auto shut off after 4 hours. So if you do just come in, boom, leave lid on the side, it's not going to completely drain your batteries. So auto shut off after 4 hours. Volume down, volume up. You do have, I think it's 5 increments of volume. So you've got a nice big range. So, you know, if something's like, if you've got a load of noise going on and you just want to dial it down a bit, you know, someone's gobbing off and, you know, mate, I've got you about a 10, I need you about 3. Just bring it down a bit.
Having to listen to a briefing, safety briefs, all those sorts of things, briefs. Just wind them all the way down, you're all good. Boom,
turn them off, job done. So yeah, that's nice, and they're super soft, and again, all the symbols, the positive, negative, obviously volume up, volume down, and power, are all sort of embossed in the nice little rubber button. So with or without gloves on, you can feel that, you know. It's nice and easy, sort of, was it tactile?
Yeah.
Tactile, love that word.
Good word.
So that's the volume up and down. Again, you come down to the microphone. This is removable. You can swap this side to side. So you do have your little plug here. You watch me break this now. So it just comes out on a tiny, I don't know what size it is, 1.5mm or something, jack. And you have a rubber bung on the opposite ear cup, so you can swap the mic from left to right. If you're a lefty or righty shooter, just swap that to the other side, which I think is a great little option. I need to find the hole, Tim.
Do you want spit on it?
Put some hair around it.
Go on, you'll be all right.
Okay.
Do you want a hand? Should we double team it?
I think we're good.
Do you know what? Just like looking over this headset again, I'm just amazed by how much of an improvement this is. You know, the last ear cups, admittedly, they were quite firm plastic, felt a little bit solid. Again, get a little sweat behind them, especially if you've got a bit of a slick head, and they moved around a lot. The actual ear cup itself wasn't that deep, so if your ear sat within it, you'd get this kind of sliding around where it didn't really encase the ear. For me, one of the big things to notice is the difference of the material inside the cup itself.
Nice,
they're very similar to like a nice padded material over the top. The outer cup really does feel like a gel cup. I'm not quite sure what's in there, but it's super soft. It you know, encases the ear really well without putting lots of pressure on the side of the head. It's textured on the outside like the last one wasn't, so that texture again just helps grip the side of your head, and that opening for the ear is deep, so if your ear does fit within this space, it really encases the ear and there's enough space around it so it's not being crushed against the side of your head like Richie mentioned before. I am, again, not a fan of over-ears, but actually run these for the whole day without batting an eyelid. Normally, first time running these sort of thing for a whole day is when you're going to notice those small niggles, and absolutely not a thing. I literally run them from morning until evening, on the whole time, throughout the whole day, on a really warm day too. Lots of sprinting, lots of running back and forth from objectives, running back and forth from regen. And these were absolutely bang on.
I'll be honest, mate,
can't complain about them at all.
I expected within the first sort of like after the first hour to see them like just ditched in the footwell of your car. Do you know what I mean? This is how much Tim hates over-ears. He really has got a big thing for them. So for me then, my experience with these, I've worn these. So I wore them. First time I got them out of the box and put them on was at our event, Ruckus 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were marshing comms, were very important, you know, talking to Tim, Matt, all the other marshals on site. And, you know, anyone that was at Ruckus 2 know the wind was absolutely howling that day. It was a lovely day, a bit like this, but it was just the wind was absolutely gusting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So obviously, I had to turn these down a little bit, turn the sensitivity down, but I think it was about the middle tier. And do you know what? There was normally with some, you know, over noise protection, you get that sort of pop, 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 pop,
as it's
trying to struggle with the wind noise. Nothing. I don't know whether that's the software, the way it's the microphone sensitivity, or whether it's the way the microphones are just sunken into like flush with the cup itself. I don't know, but they were brilliant. You know, I could still hear all the noise that was going on, all the firefights, all the good comms. Yeah, it was great. I guess the second real test for me was the other weekend at the SEO event.
Yeah.
Again, I wore these all day and all night because I was RO, so I had to have them on. You know, like I said, like Tim says, other than just the odd quick stop here, you know, a quick silence halt, check the ambient noise, they were on day and night. And it was hot, right?
It was super hot.
Yeah.
It was super hot. And I actually wondered how well you'd get on. Obviously, there's a lot of comms coming through. A lot of pyro was used, especially on the night raid.
Yeah.
You'll be able to check the channel for that footage. If it's not up already, it will be up really soon.
Very soon.
We've got the night raid footage. There's a lot of bangs that's going off on that during that night raid. And again, with the comms, with you being up front, with obviously having comms coming in and out, and the ambient noise protection cutting in and out, during those bangs going off, I did wonder how you'd get on with those, and obviously it didn't have any problems at all, so that was good. I mean, there was a lot of pyro going off.
I mean, there was some big pyro at that event, and at one point did I go, oh, do you know what? Because it just shut everything out that needed to be shut out.
Yeah.
Again, ambient noise was spot on. The only thing I did notice is I had them turn up a little bit too loud. When I was on the Mark 46, obviously that thing was rattling off. I did have to just turn them down a little bit because you couldn't hear the people being hit at the other end. So
putting them rounds down.
Yeah. I think on the video, I think you actually hear it say, "Tim, did I get him?" You went, "Yeah, you got them both." So it's not a bad point, right? Because it means that they're good at sort of picking up the ambient noise and processing that. Likewise, it was super hot. I was absolutely sweating like mad, and that's the one thing the last headset let me down on. You know, it was so hot, all that moisture builds up in the cup, and it just must have fried the circuit board. Yeah. Again, I took these off, and I could literally get the water like that in my hand, and it was fine, no issues at all. You know, there wasn't any crackling, there wasn't any feedback. So overall, sort of the two hefty games we've used them on. The feedback from us is spot on. Really solid bits of kit.
I'm going to continue to run these out. I'm going to definitely give over-ears a bit more of a chance. You know, for the day, again, knowing that we were going in and out of those containers, we've used lots of pyro in those containers previously, so we knew that there was going to be an opposition that were going to potentially drop a lot of pyro. Having ear protection, especially in those containers, there's something about the resonance of lots of containers together that when someone does drop a bang off, it's like that sound resonating around. It's not like it's just an over. It kind of lingers the sound.
It's got nowhere for that sound and pressure to go, right? It just sort of just goes bonk, 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 bonk until it dissipates. Yeah,
so these really helped with that. It just gives you that little bit of confidence. Again, I've had no issues with the external mics, obviously, whether that is just picking up ambient chatter and talk, or out in the wind, or even with being shut off. No, like the original headset that I had, the recoil on the Scar at times would set the ambient kind of protection off. So I was a little bit worried about that, but these just seem to be absolutely bomb-proof. And again, just sitting, holding them and giving them a bit of a squeeze, there's just no flex in them. Some big changes again, like, just the caps. All the caps are metal, the threads are metal, the little bit of wire that's holding them on, you kind of
little heat shrink there as well.
Give it a little bit of a yank, and I feel more than confident that it's not going to rip off. Definitely. It just feels like this is a real big step up in quality overall. So I'm super impressed with them. I'm really impressed.
Definitely. And again, I think this, this is where a lot of people said, oh my God, they're so expensive. I guess this is where the price tag comes in, because obviously these were, I believe, from what I've heard, the rumours, pushed towards the military and law enforcement. This is the sort of tier that they're manufactured to. So I've seen I don't know about them ones, but I've seen the M32X Mark III, £270, £285, roughly around that area. Obviously it depends where you you look, but that's the sort of ballpark you're looking at.
Yeah, I think these are about 250 quid. I think these come in a little bit cheaper, obviously, because they haven't got all the articulating arms and that sort of thing. But at the same time, EarPro, super important.
Very important.
Especially if you're going to be licking off rounds, if you're going to be in an environment where you're firing mortars and all those sorts of things. You've got tag rounds inbound. These are super important to make sure that your ears are protected. So, guys, with that, let's jump to some footage. That was good fun.
Ton of fun, ton of noisy, banging fun. Yeah, that was awesome. So as you guys saw, we licked off a load of mortar rounds, some FBG6s, just to really put the headset through its paces and to see like what they could do, right?
Absolutely flawless. I mean, and really, the responsiveness is just so quick, even when you're that close, to the point of you hear the striking and you can hear the hissing in the tube waiting for it to launch. And I'm like, oh,
it's gonna be loud.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay on some of them, and I've got a thump, mate.
Yeah.
Them FBG6 rounds. Highly recommend those if you've got a mortar launcher. Jesus, they got a thump.
Yeah, so those mortar rounds from Flashbang Smoke are incredible. The thump to them. I think that it's more fun firing them than actually watching them land.
Yeah.
But no, super impressed with both, you know, obviously the over ears and the headband set, because, you know, you guys probably can't see it on the camera. You might see from some of the footage, but the shockwave that comes off the mortars and the FBG6s, nothing, because they're so fully sealed.
They are.
Such a good seal, like you don't get anything on the ears.
We'll put some footage in now of my phone on a FBG6 this is, going off on the ground. I'm just going to slow this down for you. That's the shockwave of the blast hitting the phone. Yeah. No, nothing else hit the phone. That is literally the phone standing on a tripod, so there's no one interfering it. That's just the shockwave. Again, do you know what? The nice thing is I could hear everything else. I could hear the footsteps. You know, I could hear myself like shifting around as I was about to fire it. And then just for that brief second of that real thump. And these things are loud, guys.
Yeah, really loud.
Really loud.
I mean, we've fired these mortars from Blackgate UK, so thank you guys. We fired those obviously pre having these headsets. And mate, my ears were ringing, absolutely ringing for a good 10 minutes. So we did try it and set up a bit of an experiment with like a decibel meter, but I think it was the meter wasn't working quite right, because although you saw a spike, you know, externally, so it definitely, when we put the mic inside the cup, didn't go above 85. But likewise, when we put it externally, it didn't go above sort of like 100 decibels, and we know for a fact
these are way loud,
way above 100 decibels. So it wasn't a true reading. So we're not going to put the readings into the video, which you know, because it's not really a true test results. But you know, you could just tell. You just tell that, you know, the protection from these are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So that's basically our kind of overview, I'd say. Thoughts on the M32, say the X and the headband version from Opsmen / Earmor. These are the Mark IIIs. Super impressed, but we will continue to run these, as you know we will, through different events, and both outside and our own. to really sort of see where the failure point is on these. Hopefully not. Hopefully there isn't one, right?
Absolutely. Obviously, these are at that higher price end,
Yeah.
and they are bridging that gap into some of the competitor market in the real steel space. But these are readily available. They are built to mil-spec standards. Again, we've been using them next to some, pretty top-end pyro, and again, I've had absolutely no issues with them. So, from someone who doesn't like wearing over ears, I've got to admit these are super comfortable, and these would sway me. You'll see me if I'm going to have to wear over ears. These are the ones I'm going to go for.
Yeah.
If you are kicking about with any launchers, if you are expecting incoming pyro, which is a whole different conversation. Again, even if there's guys out on the ground launching these things at you or tags at you, or there's potential for EOD, as we saw recently, and tripwires and all those sorts of things. Definitely worth having some good ear protection on, and again, from someone that's not a fan of over ears, these have definitely swayed me.
Because there's nothing worse than having an unexpected bang, right?
Yeah.
Because you can see a tag round come in, or you see a grenade come in, you go, and you've got time to cover your ears. It's the ones where you don't see them coming, you don't have time to cover your ears, that's when you get caught out. So, yeah, super impressed. So guys, stay tuned. Obviously, we will continue to give you updates on this product, but so far, so good. Thanks for watching. Again, any questions, any comments about anything you've seen in the video today, please leave in the box below. If you hit like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. The bell icon will just let you guys know when we're uploading new stuff. So, it's good night from him.
It's good night for me. See you later, guys.